Over the last 2 years, I've done over $500,000 helping fitness influencers sell coaching without doing the sales, marketing, or fulfillment. And last month I had one client pay me over $20,000 for doing so. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I do for the client, how I did it, and what they needed to do to get that result. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matthew. I run an agency helping fitness influencers make that massive coaching income that everybody craves without doing any of the marketing, sales, and fulfillment themselves. And in the last year, I've helped creators make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars without doing any of the coaching whatsoever. The way that I do it is with a system that I've spent the last 2 years mastering. So let's get into it. Now, there are 3 aspects to any successful business: marketing, sales, and fulfillment, or in other words, delivery, service delivery, however you want to call it. Now, what we actually did is we accidentally built a system where our clients just don't have to do any of this. The way that we accidentally did this is we just started doing more and more for our clients. And over time, what we realized is that we were doing so much for them simply because they were busy that we're basically running the entire business. Now, this works out really well because the creator can actually just focus on making content while we actually just build the money machine and have that mechanism in place to continuously pump cash through the pipeline. So let's go over how these 3 steps work, starting with marketing. The goal with marketing, actually the goal with everything, but marketing specifically, is we optimize for simplicity. Now, basically what this actionably looks like is doing the least amount of work possible to get the highest amount of results. So what we found is that we post 1 story CTA a week. Yes, 1. This is probably very contrasting information that other people would say. However, this is what we found work best, and I'll get into why in a second. And the second thing that we do is run retargeting ads. Now, the reason why we only run retargeting ads rather than cold is because for fitness influencers who actually are making content, odds are that their reach is big enough. And then the second thing to go along with that is that's your warmest audience, right? There's no point in trying to target the cold audience, at least for us, when the warm audience conversion mechanism is working. Basically, what retargeting ads do, all it does is pull sales forward. That's literally it. And the reason why this is so powerful is because if you are pumping out a large volume of content, call it 3 reels a day, we'll baseline as large, you are going to get a very large audience. Now, putting retargeting ads in front of them is quite important. 1, for brand awareness so that they see you. And 2, it just gets you cash quicker. And getting cash quicker means that you can spend more money on either building a content team so that you can pump up more volume, or upping your ad spend so that you can capture more of that audience. And it's this continuous ball that just keeps rolling. Now, for the story CTA, we keep it simple, right? We simply push it to a lead magnet. The reason why we don't do direct CTAs is because the long-term ROAS from a lead magnet is just better. Now, obviously, I mentioned ROAS there, which means that you can probably guess what type of ads we run. Lead magnet ads. We don't like doing direct CTA ads because what we find with a lot of fitness influencers is that they don't want to hurt the brand trust. That's a big thing. You got partnership deals, you got sponsorships, you have a bunch of people who are watching you who are just waiting to comment something ridiculous. So what we want to do is, rather than frame you as a coach and just keep hard selling everybody, we want to give something away for free because that increases brand trust rather than reducing it. And if your free thing is good, which we make sure it is, a lot of the times what ends up happening is everything gets stronger. Your brand trust gets stronger. The people who follow you actually like you more because you're giving away something of value. And other brands also like it more because they see that. They see that your brand really trusts you. I'm going to go into this in a little more in a second, but getting back to marketing. How do the ads actually work? Like, what do we actually do for our clients? So like I said, we run lead magnet ads because of the long-term return. Anybody that says that direct CTA ads do better, well, I'd love to see their numbers. So every time that we launch a new campaign, we make sure that we do so with 30 plus creatives. Now, the reason for the 30 number is actually because the Andromeda update that came earlier in the year. I'm not going to go into Andromeda right now, but basically all it means is that you want to diversify your creatives. So we pick 30 ad creatives to run at completely different angles, meaning we're targeting different pain points and we're approaching it with a different, I guess, tone, if you will. The reason why we do this with 30 specifically is because Andromeda also increases how fast your ads fatigue. So the more creatives that you give it, the slower that they will fatigue. So we generally can get away with launching 30 creatives every month, sometimes shorter if we have new ideas. But as a baseline, we do 30 a month. From there, we just see which angle is winning. So if this is a winner, this is a winner, this is a loser, this is a loser, winner, winner. What we are going to do is we are going to make variants of these ads and approach them from different angles on our next creatives. Now, that doesn't mean that we throw these out. That just means that we replace the losers with a new test. That way, we continuously are testing, we're continuously seeing what messaging is working with the audience. And all of this goes back into the stories as well. Generally, if it's a good ad, odds are it'll be a good story as well. Now let's talk about sales. This is my favorite part because I have spent the last 2 years closing, doing sales, leading a sales team, managing a sales team, basically being a manager and a director. And one thing that I love is just squeezing the juice out of every lead that can possibly come. And once again, simplicity is key. The biggest thing that I see is people overcomplicate their funnels. They try to do too much fancy shit, and I'm guilty of this too. The reason why I came across this funnel and the reason why I've gotten this working so well, this machine working absolutely bonkers well for clients, is because I've done all the fuck ups. I've done all the mistakes with different funnels. I've been psyoped by the high ticket community for VSL funnels, webinars, challenges, and everything, but I'm just not in the high ticket info space. I am in fitness coaching. I help fitness influencers. Therefore, the funnel that fitness influencers are going to use to convert and make the most money is going to be different than some info junkie selling a 10K product. That's just not, it's just not the same. Now, I'm not shitting on info. I actually love info, but that's how I got my start. But anyways, so with the lead magnets, what we do is we push people to the DMs. The reason why is because we want to play into the human factor that everybody has. They love connection, specifically when they're talking about something that is their deepest core problem, like fitness. They probably want to talk to a human. A VSL is not going to have the same effect that talking to the influencer will do. Now, obviously, the influencer isn't actually talking to people. So what we do is we put DM setters who we train to be assassins. They're just slaying in the DMs. So from noon to midnight every day, the goal is to set as many appointments as possible. And since we're getting leads from a lead magnet, we get a high lead volume. Now, all that they use is they use our proven script, which we have made to be basically copy paste. We optimize for the tonality. We adjust the script to optimize for the tonality of the influencer, and then we adjust the objection handling scripts to also match the tonality. The reason for this is because if people are going to be in your DMs, you don't want them hurting your brand at the end of the day, especially if they're going to be speaking on your behalf. So we are absolutely rigorous with how much we train our DM setters and how much we make sure that they speak in the tonality. So much so to where we get them to watch hours of content that they've posted, take notes, and test them to make sure that they are sounding like you and crossing over with the influencers to make sure that they're not fucking up the system. Now, one thing that we've also actually done when it comes to booking appointments is that we've given people the opportunity to book straight through the lead magnet. The reason for this is because some people don't like having a conversation. Some people don't need as much convincing. Some people want a different way of doing it, so they can just book themselves in on the closer's calendar. Now, obviously, this is lower friction. So as soon as they book a call, we increase the interest rate by reaching out via DM anyways. So let's say Carl books a call through the lead magnet. What we are going to do is we are going to DM them acknowledging, hey, I saw that you booked the lead magnet. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions so that I can make sure that you and your coach get the most out of your call together? The reason why we do this is because they don't have much context. They don't have context, nor have we increased the gap of their pain. So the job of the setter now is to go through the setting conversation again, but they just don't have to book them. Because the setting conversation, that script that we have made, is designed to increase the gap, increase their intent about potentially purchasing coaching from us, and get them to show up on the fucking call. So this whole system is basically, as you can see, designed for volume. The reason why we want high volume is because if we are taking calls, the odds that somebody is going to buy the program if they have $1 to their name is really high. Why? Because we have closers. So let's talk about that. So once they book a call, there's a couple of things that happen. So first off, when they book a call, they are obviously put onto our closers' calendars. Now what we do is we actually frame these closers as coaches. Why? Because it just increases the trust. Now, as a bonus, we actually hire closers specifically who have been trainers or have had experience training in some element of fitness. The reason for that is because then they can actually give some personalized advice. At the end of the day, yes, we are trying to sell people on a coaching program, but for the people who don't buy, we still want them to leave with value. At the end of the day, if we increase your brand trust, so if we increase the influencer's brand trust, there will be more people that buy. That is just a fact. And the last thing that we want to do is create, I guess, animosity from any lead, because we just want to give people value and we want to help people get results. Now, as soon as they book a call, how do we frame them as a coach? Well, we actually run a play that I don't see a lot of people do in the industry, and it's creating a group chat. Now, this group chat is with two people. It is with one, the influencer, which we don't use their personal phone number for, of course, for obvious reasons, and it is the closer or coach. Now, what happens in this group chat? What do we actually say? Basically, as soon as they book, what we do is we create that group chat as fast as possible, within 5 minutes. Now, the influencer isn't the one who makes this group chat. We take care of that, and obviously we speak on behalf of the influencer. And the influencer's job is to introduce the coach. Now, we pre-frame the shit out of them. We basically have them be the highest level of authority that we can possibly have going into the call. So for one of our closers who runs a supplement company as well, it's actually quite dope. For example, what we do is we talk about the fact that he used to run a gym. We talk about the fact that he currently runs a supplement company. We talk about the fact that he has helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Why? Because it increases the trust. And if the trust is increased, then they're more likely to show up to the call and they're more likely to buy. Why? Because it's easier to open up when you trust the person on the other side of the table. Now, on this call, this is where I see the entire industry get really divided, okay? So listen up, because this is a real decision that you have to make, and it's one that we've already made because we know our demographic and we know how to run this machine. The industry is basically split up into one of two camps. The first one is high ticket, which I'm going to call 5K plus, and low ticket, which isn't really low ticket. I'm going to call it lower ticket, which I'm going to refer to as 2K or less. Now, let me be clear. I have done both. I've done the high ticket side and I've done the low ticket side for fitness influencers, for coaches. I have tested both and done a lot of cash collected for both, which also means I have numbers to support these decisions. Now, assuming that you were to sell one person on high ticket, this can be very appealing, right? If you were to sell one person 5K versus 5 people at 1K. Now, there are so many points as to why I prefer doing lower ticket, which is contrasting to what most people will say. But there are so many reasons. When you sell a high ticket, okay, let's say that you sell 5K high ticket program. I'm not going to go too in depth into this. That's a video for a separate day. But simply put, delivery needs to be better for fitness specifically. Close rates are lower. Sales cycles are higher. Retention is lower. Now, there's so many more points that go into this, and I will make a video about it. But these are some of the things for high ticket. For low ticket, delivery is simple. Close rates are high as shit. Retention is higher, and you can sell more people. Now, why is all of this important? Well, delivery is simple, meaning coaches don't cost as much. Close rate is higher, meaning closers are more motivated and they're having more fun. Retention is higher, meaning you can sell high ticket on the back end. Yes, you can sell 5K plus on the back end. And fun fact, usually you can get about 1 of 5 to do so. So basically all you do is make an extra 5K. So I will always, for fitness influencers specifically, prefer to sell a $600 to $1,200 product on the front end. Now, the argument for high ticket that I actually also agree with is if you are doing this solo and you have a small following, selling high ticket makes way more sense. You're able to spend more time with the client, you're able to spend more time on delivery, you're able to go get the actual result. Because odds are, if you're smaller, you need to prove the trust. If you're bigger, well, the trust is already there. So yes, you can make more upfront selling 5K, but you can make more total with an attraction offer that more people are going to take. In addition to all of this, it's really easy to retain clients and build that MRR and get downsells because you just have more opportunities to do so. You also get data faster, meaning you can make the system better and better faster. Now, just to be clear, I make tens of thousands of dollars from MRR alone, so don't sleep on it. Now, the last thing in this whole system is product. Now, this is actually another big reason why I like selling low ticket, because people don't expect as much, hypothetically, from a lower ticket purchase. You don't have to spend as much on coaching. With fitness coaching specifically, oftentimes what you're doing is just selling accountability. So if you have a system in place to make the programs for people and make it fun, then really all you're paying for is accountability. That's It's really it. So what we do is we have an onboarding specialist for the creator specifically, because the first 48 hours are so important, especially with low ticket. The time that people get buyer's remorse is in the first 24 to 48 hours. So we typically like to schedule this onboarding call within the first 24 hours. They actually book this on the sales call itself so that it's more optimized. And then for the coaches, it's really easy to get certified coaches for a cheap price when all they have to do is accountability and some check-ins. Meaning you have higher profit margins, okay? Which is more money in your pockets, which is the end goal of having coaching, specifically having somebody else do all of it for you. So for us, we hire a bunch of certified coaches. We have an army of certified coaches just dedicated to making sure that everything is taken care of. And we do reviews on these coaches every single week, making sure that they're getting clients the best results possible, testimonials, reviews, referrals, retention, everything. And the big part of product that people don't often do enough is leverage the fuck out of it. Because when you have so many more clients than a typical high ticket coach can do, you get more case studies, you get more testimonies, you get more reviews that you can go post. And the reason why this is so fantastic, and I can't believe that more people don't do this, is because it increases your brand trust, meaning you are going to make more money from coaching itself. You will get more sponsorship deals because brands fucking love it. They love it when they have when they can get somebody partnered who has a large and loyal audience. And guess what? Showing proof that you help people and just having a volume of that shit makes your partnerships better. We had one client who was a First Form and Gymshark sponsored athlete since we started working with them, and then he got better sponsorship offers and more sponsorship offers simply by following the system, which is why we believe it is so important to outsource the fuck out of product. Now, let's get to the last thing, right? What does the influencer actually have to do, right? If we do everything, this is too good to be, yeah, cool. Too good to be true, whatever, right? So now that we just went over the system, all that the creator really has to do is more, right? The reality is they don't actually have to do anything different. If they keep posting the content that made them go viral and made them big in the first place, they don't really need to do anything different, because more attention just means more money. So we really challenge this concept of more with the creator, because if they were posting 2 reels a day, and now they've got more cash flow, what they can do is they can spend that money on a content team. Instead of posting 2 reels a day, maybe they can post 6. Maybe they can get clippers. Maybe they can be posting more YouTube videos. Maybe they can get alternate accounts. The goal is to reach as many people as possible. Simply put, in this day and age, attention is everything. There is more demand for attention than there are people making content to fill it. Therefore, our job is to help our creators, our clients, post as much content as possible and reach as many people as possible. Because 1, we can sell more people that way. 2, we can hit them with retargeting ads. And 3, it's more awareness. The only thing that comes from posting more content is good. I have not seen a single time where posting more content has led to a negative return. And the reason why we optimize for virality, if you want to call it that, is because the influencer doesn't need to be hyper niche, right? The thing about high ticket specifically is you need to get hyper niche. You need to be talking to one person. You need to be talking to one single avatar. When you have a large brand and you are, call it a lifestyle influencer, you don't have an ICP. Your ICP is your audience. So what we've done is we created this whole system to not need an ICP. We have a mechanism, not an ICP. ICP stands for Ideal Client Persona, by the way. And because we are selling ticket prices that are sub 2K, most of general population can afford that, especially when we look at payment plans and we look at financing options. We can just sling. Therefore, if we have more virality, we will have more calls, which leads to more money. That is it. So although the influencer doesn't really need to change anything, we continuously challenge our clients to just post more, and learn the game, because that's how it's played. That's it. That's the whole system. Now, obviously, to run a system like this that just has such a large volume of lead flow, obviously it takes a lot of systems. Obviously, there's a lot more behind the scenes that goes on, but from a 1,000-foot overview, that's really it. So yes, there's more that goes into it. Yes, there's more systems at play. Obviously, it takes a lot to manage the lead flow that we get and to manage as big of a team as we have. So if you took something away from this video, consider dropping a like, consider subscribing. I will be posting a lot more in-depth stuff like this, a lot of more in-depth breakdowns, breaking down exactly how I do things. For example, why I choose low ticket over high ticket, what the sales machines actually look like, things like that. And if you're an influencer who wants to partner with our agency and just see what that looks like, there's a link to my Instagram down below. Drop me a DM and I'll talk to you to see if you're the right fit. But in any case, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.